Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Welcome to a new episode of Grow and Glow podcast. If you are new here, I am Gracie, and to my ever precious listeners, my real G's, you guys are back here again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I see everything you are doing. I see your reviews. I see your shares. You are sharing the podcast episode. You are leaving reviews on every new episode. Thank you so much. I love you guys for doing that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I like it that you're carrying the podcast with your full chest. Okay, guys. All right. I don't know if you remember, but on the podcast update episode, yes, there's an episode like that. If you not listen to it, please go back and check that episode. Just scroll, you'll see it there. On that episode, we spoke about having shout outs on our new episodes. So right now, it's time for the special shout out for special people. Hey, let's go there. Okay, first of all, we have a shout out to Tom Abuja. Yep, and this is coming from Ebuka. And yeah, the second one is so sweet. This is someone giving a shout out to her mommy. Favor's giving a shout out to her mommy. Aww, the daughter wants to just let you know that she loves you so much and she's grateful for your care and kind heart. And happy birthday in arrears, mommy. We love you. Alright, Favor is also giving a shout out to her friends. Favor, now you carry load here. Oh. She's giving a shout out to her friends. She's giving a shout out to Damian. She's giving a shout out to Victor, or as she loves to call you, Vicky. And she's also giving a shout out to Chizaram. Oh, that's so nice. And she's also giving a shout out to Nanza. People really loves you guys. She loves you guys. Alright, someone else here is giving a shout out, and I love this one. It's so special. Why? Because she's giving a shout out to herself. That is so sweet. So Priscilla is giving a shout out to herself. Very, very nice. I love that. That is self-love. In fact, one of the episodes I'm giving a shout out to myself. And yeah, one final shout out. One more shout out here. And this is coming from Gracie. Yeah, so I have a shout out here, and this shout out goes to Drelo Daniel. Drelo, I see you, bro. Thank you for your vibes. Thank you so much. God bless you, Jerry. God bless you. If you would love to give a shout out to someone special, just send me a DM on Instagram at grow_and_podcast. Or if you have my WhatsApp number, just chat me up. Just say, Gracie, hi Gracie. I would love to give a shout out to my best friend. This is what I would love to say to her, and I'm there for you. I'm your girl for that. Okay, back to business. Today, I have a guest with me on this episode, and Samson Adeyemi is our guest for today. Samson Adeyemi is a friend of mine I met on Instagram. Yes, you meet friends on social media, and truly, you meet great people on social media. And I met Samson Adeyemi on social media through his chats, through his videos, and they are all inspiring and great videos and posts. And something talks about keeping yourself sane, being sane and being at peace with yourself. Something's a teacher, he's a creator, he's an amazing storyteller. I've said it before. That was what attracted me to his page on Instagram and made me friends with him, because something uses his stories to teach a lot of things, helping young people, helping creators, helping Christian creatives, and that is awesome. So I brought Sam here to talk to us, to just with us, to flow with the vibes concerning how to be sane, how to stay sane and peaceful in our 20s. Though he uses his stories and experiences to help young adults find clarity. So I brought him up here to also help us out so that we'll not lose our peace and sanity of mind. So now, yeah, that's our episode for today. That is the topic for today's episode, which is, let me say it again, how to stay peaceful and sane in your 20s. I'm sure you clicked on that link to learn one or two things, so get ready to learn a lot of things here. Alright, so stay tuned to the end, and don't forget there's a giveaway for this episode on the Podroom app. If you don't have the Podroom app, you can also use the web version. Just go on the Podroom app and search for Grow and Glow podcast, and also search for this episode and comment right there on something special you learned from this episode, anything you learned from this episode, and the first person to go right there wins the giveaway. Okay, all right, so stay to the end and enjoy this episode. See ya at the end.
Thank
It's
you for
alright.
joining me here.
My pleasure, Gracie.
Okay, guys,
Yeah.
today we're talking about how to stay peaceful and sane in your 20s. And I have
Mhm.
Samson, who you just heard now, right here to speak with us, to gist with us, and to flow with the vibes. Okay,
Yeah.
so Samson, you have a page on Instagram, right?
Yes, I
That
do.
is
A privilege to have
dedicated
that.
to that is dedicated to helping young people stay peaceful and sane. I would say
Yes.
hashtag the peace and sanity
Peace and
hangout. Like
charity
I'm
and
I'm
that.
I'm proud to be part of that
Yay!
community.
I'm
So
honored to
first of
have you
all,
also, Gracie.
yes, it's exciting being there. I would like to ask why and how did you start?
Why and how did I start? Woo! You want
Yes.
to take me way back. Alright, that's good. That's good. To help me also clear some my intentions. Alright. I started this way, it's quite kind of bumpy, like every start of everybody almost is, right? And I would still like to say I'm still evolving, right?
Mm-hmm.
But before I came even on social media at all, like before I started talking about anything on social media at all, I've always been this kind of introverted kind of person. I still am,
Wow.
right? And but I always have this kind of weird quote and unquote perspective about life, right? I question almost everything. I'm the kind of person that if you tell me that you want to eat rice, I will ask you why. If you tell me that it's because you are hungry, I will ask you why. I'm just so curious like that. Like I just want to know why. So a lot of the times when I see people doing things, especially younger adults that are my age and all of that, like, and I'm always somebody that I don't like pressure. I don't like anything that will take me away from doing things at my own pace. Right? Even though as I'm
Okay.
growing, to I don't like it when people impose things that I feel is not right for me on me. Right? So I tend to ask questions a lot. So with that, I've always been looking for a platform to be able to share all these my weird thoughts, quote and unquote weird thoughts, right? Like people used to say, because they say it's not a lot of people that is in my age that think like I do, right? But so that pushed me to learn a lot about personal development, self growth, and this and that and all of that. Then I felt like if a lot of people of my age who are teenagers, who are young adults could know a little bit of the things that I have exposed myself to and my mind to, I used to have this notion that the world would be a more peaceful place, right? I used to have that notion that the world would be a more, peaceful abode. So I think fast forward to like almost more than a year now, I came around on Instagram, right? I decided to break out of my comfort zone, out of my shell, because I discovered that on social media you can build a community and you can at least share your voice with people. There's like a ready-made platform for people to kind of listen to you. So I got curious. I started to learn about it, even as I'm developing my other skills and all of that. Then, so like I was saying, right, I've always been curious. I've always been somebody that is quite inquisitive, and I don't like I don't like it when people impose something that I've not thought of well enough on me. So I don't like
Okay.
pressure. I don't like anxiety. I don't like I don't like people imposing their opinions on me, right? So this
Mm-hmm.
got me to really started asking a lot of questions on self growth, on faith, on personal development, on relationship, on why people do these things this way, on why money seems to be the bedrock of the society. Blah blah blah. Like I started asking questions in my mind and also trying to get materials to kind of give me solutions, right? Even as I'm also developing my other passions by the side and all of that. So with that, So anytime I'm in a conversation with most of quote unquote my friends, when I was a
Okay.
teenager and now that I am a young adult, I always have this feeling of I'm not comfortable with the things that they are discussing, right? Because I discovered a lot of people, a lot of folks of my age just want to talk about the money, just want to talk about um, guys, want to talk about the ladies, want to make fun of maybe the ladies' bodies part, guys, right? Maybe when I'm around guys, or just things that doesn't interest me, and I feel like it's not a way forward, right? So
Yeah.
with that, I always feel like if just these people can have a little bit of glimpse into
Mm.
my mindset, I used to feel like the world would be quote and unquote like a better place,
Mm-hmm.
a much more, I think, enlightened space.
Yeah.
So with that, that got me to started. So I felt okay. Where can I share my thoughts and everything? And I think that led me to Instagram. I'm jumping a lot of steps now, but I'm trying to take you through. So that led me
All
to
right.
Instagram, and I found, if you know Adara now, Adara Lumina,
Yes,
Adara
I've
Bellu,
I've heard of her from you.
yeah, really awesome.
Yeah.
So I found Adara. I think maybe around 2 years now, maybe 2 years plus, I guess. At that
Mm-hmm.
time, I think I was using my page at that time to just share my music singing videos because I'm somebody that's very interested in music and all of that. It's
Wow.
something that I know quite something I know average about. So I share my page
Okay.
with that, but I always felt like I can say more, right? So I found Adara at that time, and everything Adara talks about at that time, I always felt like I can say the same thing. I always felt like it's the same thing I think about. Like when you see somebody saying something, in your mind you're like, this is the same thing I used to think about now. Yeah.
Yeah, that
So
feeling.
it's so it's you're thinking of it. Then when I saw Adara, I saw that the age gap that is between myself and her is like wide. It's almost like a decade, more than a decade. And I'm like, oh, wow. So I started to pay attention to her. And then, at that time, I think now a year plus now, I found Salem's page too.
Yeah.
And at that time,
Okay.
Salem did this thing called, I think, August live meeting. And
Okay.
from there, he had this kind of conversation. I think he centered that conversation around, I think he called it vulnerable conversations or something, something, and all of that. And in every of the introduction of those live sessions, Salem will say something that like he noticed that a lot of creatives, like he would call it, you know,
Okay.
battle with more than just everything about money. They battle more with a lot of insecurities and limiting
Yeah.
beliefs, you know, and he's
Mm-hmm.
feeling like he can have conversations with his friends in the bid to help them. And in that August live meeting, for me, I joined almost every of the session, and the one that connected more with me was the one with of personal branding of Blessing Abeng and the one of emotional intelligence of Precious Gaza.
Okay.
And the way they talked about it, like it was so much. I was able to relate so much that it expanded my mind, and from that moment I just kind of clicked and made a decision that no, this is something that I just know that I want to talk about for
Mm-hmm.
quote and unquote the rest of my life, right? Quote and unquote. Like I said,
Yeah.
I'm still evolving, right? So
Yeah,
I
I
felt like
understand.
okay, this is something I want to be speaking about, like majorly. Like why not have instead of it just being a once in a while thing, why not have it consistently, constantly? Because I know that I may not be able to always talk about personal branding, design, writing. Maybe I may, but it's not something I would love to be talking about every time. I have to talk about more of mindset, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't even still today I don't know where the word came from. Then I just felt, what about if I center everything I talk about around peace, around
Mm.
sanity? Because that kind of describes the way that I try to always live my
At
right?
peace.
Like
Yeah.
exactly, like I said, at peace. I try to always be at peace with myself. So even as I'm growing, even as I'm evolving, as I'm being curious about so many things, like I said earlier, I don't like pressure. I don't like people imposing on me. So I love to be at
Mm,
peace. I love to make my decision when I'm sane. So I felt,
mm,
okay, why not? What if I'm able to share all of these things with other people, with creatives, with young authors, right?
yeah.
How would that be like? And in my head, I was like, hey, everybody's talking about branding, everybody's talking about making money. You want to talk about peace and sanity.
Peace.
I like
Yeah.
let her go and sit down. But in my
Arrange
mind, I felt
yourself.
like
Okay.
no. But in my mind, I felt like no, this is what I want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And even if we now talk about maybe every other thing, like maybe even if we now talk about maybe community building or personal branding or whatever you want to talk about it is
Mm-hmm.
at a space of being at peace and being sane, not the that not that first. It has to be your mental and emotional stability first, right? So
Yeah.
I started. So that was how I started. Basically, so I felt okay, and because I'm somebody that loves to talk about a wild range of things, I felt like me centering it around how I live my own life at peace and always trying to be sane would be
Okay.
a more, what's it called now, appropriate way for me to share my many, what's it called now, my many curiosity, like my many interests, maybe in relationship, maybe in mindset and all of that, just trying to help you be much more, like I used to say, much more at peace in your relationship with yourself and that of
Mm-hmm.
others, right?
Yeah.
So basically, that was how it started. And one day, I think I was just, there's nothing spectacular in it. One day, I was just sitting and it just came into my mind that what if I start an hashtag and I name it the Peace and Sanity Hangout, right? How
Mm-hmm.
would that, what would that look like? And from there, I started pushing and all of that. And a lot of ideas and plans kept flowing into my head on how I can just actualize these things, helping people maybe see social media a peaceful way, seeing their life journey a peaceful way, live life at much more peace and all of that. And from there onwards, we have been pushing and evolving and growing. And here we are, right? On the podcast.
Yeah. True, because you've done. I go through your page almost every time, and it's amazing. I can't leave that place without learning something. Would I go back again? I still learn something new. Thank you so much for starting this off. But I also
I'm
have
so
a
glad. I'm
question.
honored. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I have
sorry.
a question. Why do you think we should prioritize peace and sanity? Why is it so important?
I believe the reason why it's important is that, like, when I want to break down peace and sanity to maybe somebody that is a layman that's feeling like, of course, a lot of people have a lot of explanation of their own explanation of peace and sanity, but the way I call it and the way I see it is that state of being mentally and emotionally stable,
Okay.
right? And
Yeah.
the reason why I believe that it is so important is because at the core of every one of us, we are humans, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before we started seeing ourselves as whatever we are seeing ourselves as now,
True.
right? Which
Yeah.
means that because we are humans, right, we have emotions,
Mm-hmm.
right? We are
Yeah.
more emotional beings than anything else. So if we say we want to go for the money first, or the fame first, or the maybe finding validation in somebody or someone first, right? That
Mm-hmm.
would always reflect back on our emotions and how we feel and how we see and perceive ourselves,
Mm,
right?
okay.
Because
Yes.
a lot of people, there's a lot of people that they just do all these things just for the validation sake,
Mm-hmm.
just to just fill up a void in them, right? So you feel like maybe when you have money or maybe when you have the fame, that's when you that's when you be okay, right? But
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of people out there, a lot of people that even though they have set up a facade to the external world, that maybe on their Instagram pages, on their social media pages, everything we see is just everything is
Perfect.
rosy and it's bubbling and it's perfect and it's amazing and it's bam, right? And
Yeah.
a lot of young adults, especially young adults, teenagers, we then try to want to live our life that way, right? We want to also paint it to look and
That's
seem
where.
perfect, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
But at the corner of our room, when the light is off,
Mhm.
there's always this feeling of guilt. There's
Mm.
always this feeling of regret. There's always this feeling of I am more than this. There's always this feeling of I've
Okay.
chosen to look away from the most important aspect of us, which is our mental and emotional side, to try to chase all this external facade so that we can set up a perception outside there, right?
Mhm.
So the reason why I believe that it is so important is that when you prioritize your mental and emotional stability above all, what I call your peace and your sanity above all, right?
Mhm.
You would be able to run your race at your own pace.
Yeah.
You will become much more self-aware, right? So
Oh
that
yeah.
everything that comes your way, everything that people do to you or that people say to you, you start
Mhm.
to reflect and see it from a place of, is this right for me? Does this feel right for me? Is this how I
Mhm.
want to live my life? Instead
Mm.
of first of all accepting everything that everybody is,
Yeah.
then now come back to yourself later, right? So number one,
Mhm.
I said, when we prioritize our peace and sanity above all, we are able to run our race at our own pace. We become
Yes.
self-aware, right? And then
Yes.
we love ourselves much more,
Yeah.
right? So that makes us to be able to detach from so many things and be able to avoid, or at least be aware when we start to fall into this cycle of comparison, this cycle of peer pressure, this cycle of all these negative emotions,
Mhm.
right? So when we
Yeah.
prioritize our peace and sanity, we become self-aware, and in that self-awareness, right, we're able to love
Mhm.
ourselves much more. We are able to run our race at our own pace, right? And then
Mhm.
we become so much more like almost like it's almost as if like a lid in your face is open up. Maybe when
Mhm.
when somebody is covering you and just all of a sudden
You see the
you just
light.
felt you just feel as if you see the light, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So basically that's just it. When you prioritize your peace and sanity above all, that is your mental and emotional stability. So even though you are trying to maybe become the best of whatever you want to be in your craft, right?
Mhm.
You are now at a state where you are so much self-aware that even though when you feel all these negative emotions, you are able to label them and
Mhm.
tag them and understand that this is where it's coming from. This is comparison. This is the feeling of shame. This is peer pressure. This is not me.
Okay. Okay. So talking about pressure, talking about comparison and all this stuff, you know, as young people, people in our twenties,
Mm,
we're young. There's so many
of
things
course.
that we face, and I want to ask, like, is it okay sometimes to feel lost, confused, tired, just sometimes you just want to just be there. You don't want to talk to anybody. You just feel your life is not even going well. Is it okay to feel like that sometimes?
100% Gracie. It is, because we are humans, right? Like I used to say, like I said earlier, right? We are
Uh,
humans. We cannot avoid or neglect all these emotions.
okay.
This feeling of you are feeling lost, or especially for young people like us, right? When
Yeah,
it's bound to happen. When you're
it
around people
is.
that you feel like you feel like quote unquote, you feel like they are doing better than you start to
Yeah.
feel all these kind of emotions running up in your stomach, right? And
Mhm.
everything just feels so, almost as if you want to throw up.
Mhm.
And that's normal. That's 100% normal. It only means that we are human. It only means that we are normal. right?
Okay.
But what
Yeah.
is not normal is for us to stay in that lane, right?
Yeah.
What is not
True.
normal is for us to now, spread our tentacles and now live in shame or live in that pressure, right?
And
We
dwell in
have to
it.
always
Yeah.
try. Exactly. We have to always try to like elevate or like stay above it all,
Okay.
right? So even though you are feeling this feeling of comparison, you are feeling all this feeling of peer pressure, you are feeling all these negative emotions all around you, right? You are
Mm-hmm.
able to become. That's why I said, you see that at the core of everything that I said, there's so much. What's it called now? Focus on self-awareness, right?
Okay.
So you get to this place where you are so aware of where you want to be in your own life's journey, the things
Mm-hmm.
that you want for your own life, the things that you feel like is important for your own life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Such that when comparison sets in or peer pressure sets in, you are able to look at these friends of yours
Mm-hmm.
and you know that no, this is not the life that I want to live,
True.
right? You understand that my own journey is different, right?
Yeah. Every,
Exactly.
everybody has their own place, their own phase. So just learn how to grow in yours. So to anybody listening right now and you're feeling lost, or you feel
Mm,
your friends are doing better than you are doing, or you just feel, oh, I'm just tired. Something has told you what to do. Don't feel
mhm,
that way. Don't feel that way. Everybody has his or her time. Then talking about pressure still, something
mhm.
personally, how
Love
do
it.
you deal with pressure, challenges, friendship challenges, school, work, just life in general? How do you deal with that?
Ooh, exactly. Because that's something I also want to get into. Because it's sometimes easy for us to see all these words and all of that and think it's just abstract, right? You feel like it's not practicable. But I love to
Mm-hmm.
put in practicable tips of something that I am also using, like using. Let me use using, for a loss of a better word in my own life's journey also, right? So,
Okay.
like I said, I am also not immune to pressure. It's not like I'm a super god or superhuman
Superman.
that does not feel pressure, that does not feel challenges. No, right?
Yeah.
In fact, my life has been a series of challenges. If you have followed
Mm.
maybe a little bit of my story as I used to share on my
I
Instagram page,
have.
you see
Period
that my life
defense.
has been exactly my life has been a roller coaster all through, right? And it still is, right? It
Yeah,
still is.
that's
I still
life.
have I still have days where my parents eat me up and they be like, "What guy? What are you even doing with your life, self? Do
Mm.
you like?" Sometimes they remind me and be like, "Okay, do you know that you are now a graduate?" You get like it's almost as if like I've forgotten,
uh,
right? It kind of
yeah.
wake me up. Say, do you know like the show so much? Huh? You get? You
Yeah.
don't understand. And with that, so what I do first of all, and I will still have to go back to self-awareness. You have to
Okay.
let me start putting it in practicable tips.
All
I'll say
right.
to anybody listening now, find time to sit, take a pen and a pad, or maybe if you prefer to type, try to write out the things that are important to your own life. Right?
Mm. Mm-hmm.
This is something that you can, instead of using your next 1 hour or your next 2 hours to scroll on social media, please do this. This is more beneficial.
All
Take a
right.
pad, take a notepad, take a pen, sit down, write the things that are important to your own life, right? Write
Yeah.
the things that write out those questions that springs up in you at the corner of your room when nobody is there. Write them
Mm-hmm.
down, right? Become so aware. Write those questions down. Maybe it's a question as simple as why do I feel sad whenever I'm going to class? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. Why do I feel sad whenever whenever this particular person says something about this particular topic?
Mm.
Why does it irritate me? Why does it irritate me? Why is it that when I hear them say something or when I see somebody, I just feel like I just feel uneasy. So start by writing all of that down and trying to figure out and pay attention to his wife. And also, you can draw a line now and now write what are the things that you are curious about. Right? Those things that get you, like, you don't know anything about those things, but whenever you are around people discussing it, you are just so curious. You just want to listen to everything. You're just like, okay. Oh, all right. Write those things down. Write the things that are important to you. Write the questions that pop up in your mind at the corner of your room when nobody is there. And write the things that you're curious about. Right? So from there, because like I used to say, self-awareness is actually work. It is work. You don't just wake up one day and just say, bam, today I am now self-aware.
No way.
It doesn't work like that. It has to come as a process. And it would evolve. You would evolve with time, but the goal is just for you to know the things that are important to your life. Understand the things that you want for your life, right?
Know yourself.
Understand what you want to see. Exactly. Understand yourself. Understand the things that interest you, the things that doesn't interest you. This will save you a lot of mental and emotional energy, right? Then from there, for me, so when I know these things, right? I've been able to ask myself these questions, and I still ask myself on a regular basis, right? And also, I look at my circle of friends, right? Even
very
though
important.
I don't have a lot of friends. I really don't have a lot of friends because of what I want to share now, right? I believe that our mind is such, like, is faster than even the best camera. Our mind captures even the most little and tiniest details. So
true.
if you're around somebody and they're saying something, okay, I think I'll put that under filter the things that you listen to and the things that you hear. So if you're around somebody and they're saying something, even though you feel like you're not listening, you are actually listening. No, your mind is actually listening. You may not be listening, right?
Yes.
But your mind is listening. Your mind is seeing it. So at the corner of your room, when you need to say something, or that's why you just say that so many times we do so many things subconsciously. It's not like it's just subconscious. It's because we have exposed ourselves to all these things, all these materials and all of that. Is why a lot of people in our age group, teenagers, young adults, they feel when you are sad, the first thing to do is to probably pick up your social media and just scroll through.
No.
Or a lot of people feel like, oh, okay, money is the most important thing. Okay,
in life,
right?
People
it's
do that
because of the people that you have surrounded yourself with.
True.
Right? That's why you hear a lot of people, teenagers, young adults, just use some kind of languages that some other people will be like, what are you saying? But they see it as normal, right? Because that's what they have exposed themselves to.
They don't even
understand.
Time.
Exactly. You don't even understand that you do not understand. They are like, I actually don't see it me. It's everywhere now. It's everywhere.
It's normal.
Right? So in that, and that's, you see, everything is still going back to self-awareness now, right? Because it is in you being self-aware that you will now be able to filter the things that you listen to and the things that you see and the people that you keep around you, right? Because that is very important. So for me, I've learned to be self-aware and working on it because that is an unending journey. I've also learned to also filter my feed, filter the things that I see, and filter the people that I listen to. So, like I said earlier, so if I'm around a friend, right? We're talking about how I let go of my own pressure. If I'm around a friend and they are saying something that makes me feel, they are saying something that does not make me feel at peace.
Okay.
Right? In my head, I already marked that person out. I already marked them out. That, okay, you not own about them. You not spoil my life. You I've marked.
You're not for me.
I've marked. You are not for me. Right? We can still have casual conversations, right? But
for sure,
I understand. I know where I will be able to draw the gap, right? Because
Yeah.
what we're trying to do is to kind of build a territory, because
Mhm.
there's already a lot of pressure coming from inside of you, but you can control it first of all by building up this territory and building up this boundary of the things that you
Mhm.
allow into your mind, right? So I become
Mhm.
self-aware, filter the things that I listen to, filter the people that are around me, and in that I'm now able to communicate these things that I want to see in my life. I'm able to communicate it to other people that are around me,
Mm.
right? So this
Yeah.
helps me to also fight quote unquote pressures from parents, because I am growing in my own self-awareness. I know where I want to be. So when they bring out they want me to be and they put all this pressure on me, because I have a glimpse of where I want to be, I'm able to communicate to them that no, I don't want this.
Mm.
This is not where I want to be, right? And
Yeah.
you have to understand that this will take sometimes it take fight, because like I used to say, sometimes being at peace and being sane, it takes you to like fight for it sometimes. Like
Yeah.
it takes you to be resilient, because people would not understand it at first, right?
Mhm.
Because the things that make you feel mentally and emotionally stable are not the things that interest some other people. So
True.
they will not. So you have to be resilient. Sometimes you have to like fight for it. So in that, I communicate it, strongly to the people around me, to the friends that I have around me. So when they are bringing up a conversation like they want to do this, they want to do this, I tell them point blank that this is what me I want to do. Or even when I don't, because there are some times that maybe somebody is listening to this and they are like, oh, me, I don't know 100% of what I want to do, right? There's
Mhm.
sometimes that you may not even know, but most of us, we know what we don't want to do. We may not know what we want to do, but most
But
of
we
the
want,
times we know
yeah.
what we don't want
Don't,
to do, right?
yeah. Mhm.
Exactly. And we have to communicate that to other people. So in communicating that to other people, to my family, to the friends around me, I lose a lot of friends. And that's
You
fine.
will, yeah.
Right? That's awesome. Because it is for my own peace of mind. Right?
Mhm. True. Which is more
And at the
important.
same, which is more important, exactly. And at the same time, I'm able to stand on my ground even with my own family members, right?
Yeah.
Because another thing that I tell myself in that space of communicating my own intentions and the things that I believe in to the people around me is that if you don't, it is not these people that are trying to impose their own values and their own standard on you. They are not the one that will
Mhm.
live. They are not the one that will live with the regrets and the guilt in 5 years' time, in 6 years' time, in 7 years' time, in 8 years' time.
Yeah.
Right? So if you say you want to be living your life by what your friend is saying, because there are a lot of people, I know there are a lot of people, teenager, young adults in our age that
Young adult do that.
exactly, your friend will just come into your room and just be like, guy, babe, we do this thing now. Babe, go do this thing now. Do this. And you be like, hey, yeah, now, okay. Because you don't want them to see you as you are outdated, or
Yeah.
you are, you don't know what's going on. You don't know what's in vogue, right?
Mhm.
But you have to be able to ask yourself that if I do this thing now, hmm? Because when those things happen, we always know there's always this feeling. Everybody has it. I don't know how to explain that thing, but everybody has it. You can call it the Holy Spirit if you want to call it. You can call it instinct if you want to call it. You can call it
Okay.
gut. You can call it gut feeling if you want to call it. Anything that you feel like calling it. But there's
Mhm.
always this thing inside of us that I believe that is by the higher power, God, that we all look up to. That is just there strongly in all of us. That when
Mhm.
we hear something, we just kind of just know, like we just kind of know that this is not how we want to live our life. But so many
True.
times we settle for it because we feel like people will feel like we're outdated, or people will feel like,
And
oh,
I
you don't know
feel
what you're doing. Okay.
I feel this is where the place of how to say no comes in, because
Yeah.
young people find it so hard to say no to their friends or to someone they value so much, even though they don't
Exactly.
still want to do that stuff. So in a way, still, how do you say no? Even though you lose those friends, how do you practically say no with, and how do you get over those feelings? No, there's still this feeling of, oh, I just said this to this person. Maybe they will look at me as a bad person or something like that. So how do you get like just avoid that feeling of
Let me say no.
um
You know,
yeah.
awesome question. I think I'll first of all start with, I don't think there are some people that are already at that stage, but I would say for me, I don't, 100% believe that you would get to that space where 100% you are just over it, right? You don't even care again about people, right? Because
Uh-huh.
you will lose some people that you have always been together, maybe for a lot of years, right? You have always been together, you have done things together, they have partied together, you have supported each other in some other aspect and all of that. But it got to a point where you decided that no, this is not how I want to tow my path, and they are
Mm-hmm.
not also ready to go with you. Or maybe they are also not yet self-aware enough to understand you. And at
Okay.
that point, you have to say no to them or let them go, right? Or slide with them.
Mm-hmm.
Or slide them away. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, what I still do is that because I already have this I already know how it feels to be at peace with yourself. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we are saying, is about prioritizing your peace and sanity above all. And one thing that I think I should quickly debunk is that peace and sanity doesn't mean that a state of always being happy or always feeling like you want to be jumping up and like, hey, yeah, yeah. No, it's not. Actually, peace and sanity is not quote and unquote a state of enthusiasm, as it were. It's not like a place where you're like happy every time, you're like shouting and all of that. No, it's a state of awareness.
Mm-hmm.
You know that even though you are losing people, it seems like you are losing people, even though you are saying no. You know that it's because of something that is because of your future self,
Mm-hmm.
right? So sometimes I will still feel that feeling of maybe this doubt, like or this feeling of I miss people, or this feeling of I just wish my family or my parents can just understand at this
Yeah.
moment that I am right now, like they can just get it and just come along. I just feel like that, and I give myself those little moments to just a little bit, quote unquote, drown in that feeling, right? Because we are human beings. So
Yes, we
don't
are.
don't try to numb yourself of emotions. So I give
Mm-hmm.
myself time to feel it. Then ask myself that, okay, Samson, would you rather say yes to what these people are saying you should do now? Then in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time, you would look back and then say, I regret that I did not live my life the way I want it.
Mm.
Or you will gradually say no to these people now. They
Mm-hmm.
will not get you today. They will not get you tomorrow.
Never.
They may never even get you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
But in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time, when you look back, you are like, whoo, I'm happy I
Thank
took
God.
that decision.
Mm-hmm.
So it comes to always choosing. It comes to always that point of where you have to choose. Right?
Mm.
Would you rather regret 5, 10 years' time just because you don't want to let go of a relationship now? Or you cling on to that relationship, whatsoever it brings you, right? So for me, I've
Mm-hmm.
gotten to a place where I always know that the choice I'm going for is that guy. This regret thing, is not sweetening me. No, 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 no. So I prefer to say no now and maybe lose, quote unquote, lose people now, and maybe they don't get me now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Than me living a life of regret in years to come, because it is not their life,
Mm-hmm.
right? They can suggest, they can bring opinions, right? But at the end of the day, it is my life.
Yeah.
I have the what's it called now? The authority to draw the destiny of my own life, even as
Yes.
God wants it to be, right? I have that chance to draw out my own destiny, that this is what I want for my own life's journey. So that's basically just it. Getting to a place where you just have to choose. So you still be feeling the emotions, you still be feeling sometimes, just drowning, but I comfort myself and I'm at peace, right? Not that quote and unquote, not that I'm happy, right?
Yeah.
Not that every time I feel like, I've made the best decision,
Your nickname will
yeah.
not be happiness.
Exactly. It's not like maybe I'm happy that my mother did not call me for 2 weeks. Yeah. No, no.
Not at all.
No. I'm not happy about that, nigga. but
Oh.
but I'm at peace with it because
Mm-hmm.
I understand that it's because I am trying to map out my own destiny, and they may not understand now, but they would later understand. And even if they never understand, that's fine.
It's
That's
still
fine
fine.
because
Yes.
it's my own life. Exactly.
Yes. I think one thing I've gotten that you said here is that you like, I'll just say it in plain English. Everybody is not for you. You cannot be friends with everybody.
Can't
And
be.
you
Never.
can't still grow up in this life and still have some people in your life. Some people still have to go. You have to let go of some people. And at the same
Exactly.
time, I also believe that sometimes young people are scared to ask themselves all these personal questions, personal serious questions. People just like to
Mhm.
catch cruise and chill and do stuff like that. But it
Yeah.
is very important. It is very,
Very,
very important. It is very,
very.
very important. So I would love you to just give us a very little piece of advice for any person listening right now, any 20 something listening right now to this podcast episode, and is just out there feeling tired, confused. How should this person get his or her peace? Just a piece of advice. Any.
Okay, well, I think I would say know yourself, know yourself, know yourself. All right?
Okay.
I'll try and explain. Know yourself, know yourself, know yourself. Right? And listen to that your inner anchor, that your inner intuition.
No voice. Okay.
Right? Those two things, it would help you to go a long way. Right? And like you
Yeah.
said, Gracie, it's true that a lot of 20 something people, we just want to crash cruise. We just want to be
Mm-hmm.
where the party is banging and where it's happening. But I'm challenging anybody listening today that even if it's just 10 minutes of your day, right? Preferably
Mm-hmm.
maybe before you pick up your phone early in the morning. Because this is what happens when we pick up our phone early in the morning. It's as if, like somebody that I listen to a lot will say, Jay Shetty, he will say that when you pick up your phone early in the morning and you are scrolling through your social media, imagine it as if you are waking up and you are still on your bed, and then like 100 people flooded your room and they started shouting.
Oh my God. No way.
How will you feel?
Not good at all.
Exactly. But we don't know that that is the same thing that we are doing to ourselves when we just sit with our phone. Immediately you wake up, you just woke up, and the first thing is social media, something that somebody posts, something that somebody said, a party that somebody went to, a message that somebody sent to you, a lot of opinions, decisions, a lot of ideas. They are just throwing it at you. Bah, 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 bah. So by the end of the day, which a lot of us don't even let go of our devices for the whole of the 24 hours, and then 24
True.
hours again, and 24 hours again, right? So we are
Mm-hmm.
feeding ourselves so much with the voices of other people, the opinion of other people, the ideas of other people. So even though we don't know it, we are living our life by other people. So I encourage you, I'm urging and challenging any 20 something person listening now is that even if it's just 10 minutes at the start, right, you can increase it as the day go by, as months climb on months and years climb on years. Even if it's just 10 minutes of your day, use it to sit down with yourself, right, and
Mm-hmm.
ask yourself those questions. What are the things that you are curious about? What are the things that are important to you?
Yeah.
Do you understand? Who are the people that you feel are important to you, and the people that you feel they are not important to you?
Yeah.
And ask yourself those questions. I'm telling you, I'm saying this of a fact. It will get boring and boring and boring and boring, but you have to sit in it. There is no other way. There is no other way. If you ever desire to live a life that you are at peace with yourself and you are mentally and emotionally stable and you don't regret in 5 to 10 years to come, there's no way that you will be able to escape just having at least 10 minutes or more for yourself every day. To just refine your intentions, to redefine the things that you want, the things that are important to you, the people that you want, right? So, number 2 is
Okay.
to trust that your inner intuition, right? Whatever I
Mm-hmm.
choose to call it, like I used to say, I don't like imposing anything fit on people, but I believe
Okay.
that if you would say it's God, all right. If you say it's your gut feeling, all right. If you say it's your intention, okay. If you say it's the universe, Oh, no problem. But one thing I believe strongly is that we all have a inner compass, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you decide to call it, we all have an inner compass. Everybody has it. And you need to train yourself to listen to that inner compass. Right? There's no big tip that I can give in this. You just have to train yourself. If that is for you with prayer, if that is something that you want to do with journaling, right? That's awesome. Just be able to track that inner compass, that thing that is just leading you, that is just telling you every time you go on YouTube, for you to just search how to not think about money every day. That thing, just trust it, right? That thing that is just leading you, that check that person's speech. Just trust that. So being self-aware, finding at least 10 minutes or more of your day to just sit down with yourself to understand the things that are important to you and the things that are not, and also trusting yourself, right? Trusting that you're in, basically. So basically that's, and I think another one that is almost related as it is also to love yourself.
Yeah.
To love yourself. I can't overemphasize this. It's so important, especially in the world that we are now. You have to love yourself, right? So that you understand that even maybe you are listening to this and you have been feeling shame or guilt, and you're like, this guy is saying me, he's saying everything that I used to do. Jesus Christ, oh my God. No. You don't have to feel like that. Love yourself, accept yourself. That's okay, no problem. I've been doing it this way, and now I see that it's wrong, but I love myself. I trust myself. I just accept myself the way I am. And you see, in loving yourself, you know what the beautiful thing in loving yourself is that it doesn't mean that everything about you is rosy. It doesn't mean that everything about you is, graceful and blissful and holy and shimmering and all of that. No. It only means that you understand that, guy, you know that you like to lie. No. And you're like, okay, I know. But okay, I'll do better. Right?
Yeah.
You know. But you are not beating yourself up and you're like, hey, I'm a liar. Hey, my life has ruined. I like to lie. No. The first thing is to accept yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror and if you can hug yourself and say that, hey, Tosin, or hey, Tola, or Samson, whatever your name is, I see you. I see your flaws. I see the things that you like. I see that whenever you are around your friend, you like to want to sound like the smartest. It's all right. It's fine. I see you. I get you. But at the same time, we can change this, right? Because it doesn't make us feel too good. So you love yourself, both your flaws and your strengths, your weaknesses and everything, and and then you start deciding the ones that you want to let go, the one that you want to work on. So basically, that's just it. Self-aware, following your intuition, and then self-love. Basically, I think that's the advice that I can give to any 20-something listening to this right now.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I am so thankful for this episode. And I'm sure anyone listening to it now is very thankful. I just hope they were writing things down because there were a lot of points to jot down. All right.
Exactly, yeah.
Thank you, Samson, for being my guest here tonight. Thank you. Thank you so much. And please, we would love to know where we can find you online, on social media, to follow you on Instagram, YouTube, anywhere.
On Instagram, I think I am more, what is it called now? I'm more constant on my Instagram at Samson Adeyemi _ Samson Adeyemi _ right? I'm there on Instagram, and on YouTube, it's Samson Adeyemi's Hangout. I'm trying to become much more, what's it called now? Also conversant or regular on YouTube.
Okay.
But if you search Samson Adeyemi on YouTube, you actually see 2 accounts because I lost access to a first account. Please don't subscribe to that one.
I remember that.
Please don't subscribe to that one.
Please don't.
Subscribe.
Yes.
Subscribe to Samson Adeyemi's Hangout. Right?
Okay.
So that's it. On my YouTube, Samson Adeyemi's Hangout, and on my Instagram, Samson Adeyemi _ and you can also search the Peace and Sanity Hangout on any of your podcasting platforms that you listen to. You see brackets new, the Peace and Sanity Hangout, because I lost access to the former one too, and I'm just starting another one, right?
Yeah.
So my Instagram at Samson Adeyemi _ on my YouTube, Samson Adeyemi's Hangout podcast brackets new, then the Peace and Sanity Hangout. But if you don't do any of it, check out my Instagram. That one is more important and more constant.
I love your Instagram page. You know me, I'm always commenting now. We do everything there.
Yeah.
Like when something tells you a story about something, you don't want to just stop reading. Then you listen at the end or at the middle. I'm like, gosh. Because I wonder, how do you write those things? Do you just think of it? No, me, my own is just to talk. I cannot sit down and start writing all those things. Thank you so much, Samson. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, thank you for listening to this episode. Please don't forget to subscribe and share this episode on your WhatsApp status and Instagram stories. Don't forget, you can also follow Samson at Samson Adeyemi _ on Instagram. Samson's Instagram page is fire, like it's wonderful. Please also subscribe to his YouTube channel at Samson Adeyemi's Hangout and his podcast too. Don't forget, we also have an airtime giveaway happening on Podroom. So search for the podcast on Podroom. You can use the web version or the app. So search for this podcast, search for Grow and Glow podcast on Podroom, and tell us what interesting thing you learned from this episode in order to win the airtime. See you next time. See you.